Hi everyone, welcome. I'm Jenna. This is Apple Dolly Creations. I don't know why you're dark. Oops, I forgot a light. Let me turn it on. Is that better? Okay, I'm Jenna and this is Apple Dolly Creations. And I'm going to pull you up over here so I can see what you're seeing. Okay, it doesn't look as dark on there as it does up there. So, okay. We are taking, we're making a mouse, another mouse. Hi, Kathy. But we are taking a mouse trap and putting our mouse in the mouse trap this time. So, a real original, huh? So I picked these up at Dollar General. They were 50 cents for a pack of 4. Yeah, 4 in a pack. They were on clearance. So that's what I'm using. And we're going to put our mouse in one of these. Now when I pulled them out of the package, they have a sticker right here. So I just pulled it off. Because we don't need that. I mean, you can leave it, but I'm not. See, just pull it off. Now, we're not actually going to set this mouse trap because, Lord forbid, the person that would get stuck in this is me. So, and my husband would have a field day. So this, we're going to paint this. And what I'm using for the mouse is I used the paint water that I make because I just had a little bit of gray paint left, so I went and bought another one. But when I colored this, I just had a little bit. So this is a heavy drop cloth. This is heavier than I normally buy. This is like really stiff. But once you use paint water and it's just mixing more water to your paint until you get the color that you want. Hi Regina, I saw a message from you and I'll go back and read it. I saw it right as I pushed the live button. But you can still put this through your sewing machine. Now if you would actually just take the paint and paint this, you can't put it through the sewing machine. You'll break needles. But this we can still put through the under the needle. So I made my pattern, his mouse, 2 ears, and then I made him feet. But I think we're going to have to make his feet bigger because of the bottom of his body here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just using Nutmeg Brown from Apple Barrel. And I'm going to put some on and I'm going to use a baby wipe to take it back off. Because I don't want it painted, I just want it not this stark white color. So, now I am going to attempt to lift this bracket up without getting my fingers in it. So, that might be a trick. So hopefully I can get this done without hurting myself. So I just want this to be a little colored, not really painted. Hi Brenda. So I took a real mouse trap, Brenda, and I'm just putting paint on it and then I'm wiping it right back off. So it's not going to be totally, it's not going to be totally covered. So let's see if I can do this without moving that bracket. I can hear my husband now. He's sitting in the living room thinking, oh my word. What is she doing? You know, I have gloves sitting right here. I don't know why. I never remember them, but I got them sitting right here. There's so many moving parts on this thing. I don't think I've actually ever sat one. I've seen people do it, but I don't think I've ever done it. So this will dry really, really fast since we're wiping it right back off. And I'm just going to paint the back. I'm not going to worry about it. And we're just going to set this aside while we do the body. So just painted the back. Thank you, Regina. I appreciate that. I do too. This is my favorite color of brown. I buy this. I'd buy it bigger if I could find it bigger, but Amazon has this for under $5 for a 16 ounce. That's where I buy it from. Okay, so we're going to set this aside. And we're going to, when you're sewing small pieces, put them on your fabric and trace them, sew them, and then turn them. It is so much easier, because if you cut this out and then try to sew it, you're going to have more of a difficult time. So we just need 2 ears. And we're going to add some more gray paint to this after it is sewn to give him highlights. Now this is the feet that I drew. I just did this a little while ago, so I don't think they're going to be big enough. So I'm going to, when I sew them, I'm going to sew them larger. Yes, Regina. Right now you can get a, how many pound box is this? Where does it say? A 5-pound box at Michael's for $25. Yeah, hi Julie. Yes, it is very expensive right now. And Walmart is the most expensive. Hi Donna. So what you girls missed that are just hopping on, I bought real mouse traps at Dollar General. There's 4 in a pack. They had them on clearance for 50 cents. And we painted one of them. So it's sitting here drying. And we just drew our mouse pattern on our, this is drop cloth. So before we cut it out, we're going to sew it. And I'm leaving the bottom of the body open. So the ears don't need sewed, but I'll cut them out when I cut everything else out. And then the feet, I just made this. So we're going to make it bigger because I think they need to be bigger. And it doesn't matter if a mouse has big feet or not, right? So we give dolls big feet, why can't we give a mouse big feet? So I'm going to slow this down because we are going around some curves on these feet. Whoops. Helps if I set my stitch. Regina, everybody's using those cheap pillows right now. But Michael's is the cheapest place. Now, I don't know about the bags they have. I never buy a bag because I go through way too much of it. But the 5-pound box is $25. So this is the best way if you're doing small things to sew them, put them on, draw them on your fabric, sew them, and then cut them. Because sometimes when you got little things, even though you have it pinned, you lose control of it a little bit. Now this pattern, I looked on Pinterest, and that's where I looked at the picture and I drew it from the picture. So this is actually a Pinterest pattern, but there was no name attached to it. And I made it a lot smaller than what it said it was on there. Of course, I'm not good at centimeters and all of that. So my math could have been a little off. Look like an alien? Hi, Lori. Why did it look like an alien? Hi, Julie. I have a gingerbread project coming up, hopefully next week. So I can share with you my gingerbread pattern. It's a very simple one. We're making a mouse, Julie, and we're putting it in a real mouse trap. E.T. So we have some curves, and we have an inside curve. So we need to clip all the curves. Even though I trimmed real close to my stitches, I still do this because it just makes your seam lay so much better. And this is a step that when I'm doing a lot of things, it drives me crazy, but it actually makes your project look nice. Now, can you hot glue this? I don't see why not. I never think about hot gluing things because, you know, I sew. But I don't see why you couldn't. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it probably doesn't look like. We are our worst critics. Especially when we're learning something new. I know I'm awful at criticizing myself. And Tony will correct me. But, you know, sometimes I think, well, oh, okay, Julie. Sometimes I think, well, you know, it's just because he's my husband. But I know he wouldn't just tell me something just because he's my husband, but I'm still my worst critic. And even though I have done this for 600 years, I still question myself. So those of you that are new sewers, don't question yourself, seriously. So I'm cutting out. Oh, that's great, Julie. Apples? I do. I can pull those ideas out because I had an apple kitchen one time. So here's his feet. So we're going to turn this. Now this drop cloth is, I bought the wrong one. The higher the number, your drop cloth has numbers on it by its weight. the higher the number, the less weight it has to it. As you think it'd be the other way around. But I wasn't thinking, and I grabbed one, and this is like really, really hard. So let's get this puppy turned. Now, those of you that are just starting to sew, this is something I did. Oh God, I don't know. Hi, Kayla. I don't know how long ago. I took a dowel rod and put a wood bead on the end of it. And this, I use this. I have a bigger one too for when I'm doing bigger projects. But this thing has been a lifesaver in turning things. So, just I think this is a real tiny dowel rod and just a bead. Just hot glued it together. So there is an idea. So I use the flat end to push things through. Now you can buy turning tools, and I have a whole thing of them, but I am a creature of habit, and yeah, and yeah, you can't change old dogs. I'm sorry. We get going one way, and then it doesn't matter how many turning tubes I have. I go to my dowel rods and beads. So I have a larger one here too. So this, I wish I would have done muslin instead of drop cloth, especially this drop cloth. So those of you who have not seen my post, I have been working with a company in India, because that's where most fabric is made, because I wanted to sell the most popular fabrics: homespun, muslin, Kunan felt. If you don't know what that is, it's a shaggy felt that a lot of stuffed animals are made out of. Yesterday I was told that because August 29th, I can't think of the name of it, I wrote it down. Dominus exemption ended, which before August 29th, you could place an order with a company from India under $800, and there would be no tariffs. So after August 29th, that ended. So now it doesn't matter what your order is, you're paying 50% tariffs. So the two companies that I was trying to get hook up with are no longer, until further notice, shipping any fabric to the United States. So that's homespun, muslin, and Kunan felt. So, you know, I let a whole bunch of people know about it already. So if you see it, pick it up, because, you know, if they're not shipping to the United States and fabric is made in India, 90% of it, there is a few American-made fabrics. They don't do homespun. So hopefully they pick it up. Hi, Stella. So hopefully they pick it up. I did contact one, but his minimum order is so high. I'm not a Rockefeller, so that's not happening. So if you see the homespuns, you know, everyone has their own favorite fabric or color. I would grab a couple of yards, because yeah, I think there's going to be a shortage of it, because they're not shipping to the United States. I know, Regina, I know. So, and I've been working with these guys and back and forth, and so, and I was so disappointed yesterday at work. So disappointed, because I thought, this is what I'm going to do, and I have access to all the colors that I want. That ain't happening. It's not happening. So when I had my store, there were fabric mills in North Carolina, and that's where I bought most of my fabric from. But when everything went to India, they closed. And that's when, if you remember, the last time Walmart sold fabric, that's when they quit selling fabric, is when the mills went to India. And, which I don't blame the country of India, trying to get, you know, their people more jobs, bring more business and everything into their country. But that's when Walmart stopped selling. And that's the first time that I found Kuehne & Felt was at Walmart, because they sold it. And I bought it by the bolts. But, and I've looked for it ever since, because I love shaggy Kuehne & Felt. Hi, Sheila. So, if you see your homespun, your favorite colors, I would grab it. I would grab it. So let me get this nose turned. My fingers aren't working either. I'm in a flare-up. That's why I have not been live this week. So I am fumbly when I'm in a flare-up. So I was changing light bulbs the other day in my, I have one bedroom that I have all the way around, bookcases, and all my supplies are in there. And changing the light bulb, broke the globe, glass went flying everywhere. I thought, oh, I quit, because my hands, when I'm having a flare-up, sometimes will not hold what I'm holding. So yeah, I was like done. I was like, okay, I quit. No, Stella. Most fabric, hi Marcia, is made in India. So I was working with a company for homespun, muslin, Kuehne & Felt. Hi Dretha. And they canceled my orders. And because they're no longer shipping to the United States, hi Mom, for the foreseeable future. Now they're hoping that the tariffs change, but right now it would be 50% tariffs if they sent any fabric to the United States. I know, I loved going to North Carolina for the, I had boxes all the time of fabric coming from the mills in North Carolina. But there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 companies that I was trying to get different fabrics from, and all of them have stopped shipping to the U.S. So, yeah. So I was so disappointed. So hopefully there's a few family-owned companies in the United States. Hopefully they pick it up. But the one that I contacted, he already knew all about the tariffs changing August 29th. So before that, there were no tariffs on any shipments from India under $800. But that changed. Those ended. Because the country of India wouldn't work with whatever they want. Whatever they wanted them to do, they wouldn't do. So, but I feel bad for the people that work in those fabric mills over there, because they're going to lose their jobs. You know, some of the one company that I was working with, Free Spirit and Mammoth Mills, they're small companies. So there's our body. These are our feet. And we have 2 ears. So that, you know, selling fabric was something that I wanted to do for years. And I've worked toward it and looking for companies and trying to get, you know, that I didn't have to pay $10 million for the first order. And I finally found a couple. And then this happens. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. So I'm going to take the flat end of this skewer, and I'm just going to make sure that all of this is pressed out, because I can't really get my fingers up in there, into his nose anyway. So I'm going to use my forceps. I ordered the wrong ones. These suckers are 12 inches long. I had a small pair and I broke them. So I ordered another pair. And when you don't read the description on things, you pay for it. So I'm going to stuff his nose as tight as I can get it. But these things are so great because they really help my hands. And I'm pushing it way down into, so when I put my fiberfill in, like into a small area like his nose, I hold it with my fingers, squeeze it, and then pull my forceps out, and it holds it in place. Because sometimes, well, you know, this has, it's like a sponge, and it will recoil back, and then you got to shove it back up in there before again. So all the projects that I had listed last Sunday that I was going to do this week, we are going to do. And Brenda, I put your apple stuff on my list. And so we will do some apple stuff. I had an apple kitchen, and then somebody I knew, every time I did my house a certain way or my kitchen, she would go and do her kitchen that way. So then I did apples and cows, and I still have quite a few of the cow stuff. But yeah, I was like, get your own ideas. Not that everybody back then didn't have apples in their kitchen. So we're just stuffing this as firm as we, yeah, I just happened to look, think, oh, I didn't turn that glue tool on. So we're just stuffing it in there. So those of you that did not hear, this is a Pinterest pattern that I just looked at the picture and drew my own. And if I figured out the centimeters right, the one on Pinterest is huge. So I just looked at the picture and drew my own. So if he looks a little deformed, I am not an artist. Oops, I forgot to turn that off. So I am stuffing this as much as I can get in there. So I don't think I need those anymore. So I am stuffing all the way to the very bottom. So he looks almost like a candy cane, a fat candy cane. So when I'm doing tiny little things, I have long tweezers, and that's what I use because I can't get the forceps in here. So that's what I use. So if you grab it, your fiberfill, and twist it when you have a small opening, well, get it closed, Jenna. There we go. You can get it stuffed in a lot easier. Those ones don't want to hold the fiberfill for some reason. So just keep grabbing and twisting and grabbing and twisting, and it goes right in. I don't know what's wrong with these ones. They won't hold the fiberfill. So if you're doing tiny, hi Sheila, if you're doing tiny little arms or something like that, a really small doll, long tweezers are really, and you get them like where they sell nail polish and all that stuff in the beauty department. The one pair I have, these ones, they came with an old Singer sewing machine that I got. So I'm just twisting and I'm poking it in there. You will try to find me and watch my craft. Oh, okay, you're talking to somebody else. Okay. I'm like, what? I didn't see the other comment. I'll have to watch that too, Stella. So if you guys are not following the other creators that's showing up here, please go follow them. Now, I'm not shoving or stuffing this really firm like I always do, because we need to put his foot under the thing on the mousetrap. And I'm just going to glue this opening closed. And making sure all those fibers are down in there and that the raw edges is turned in. So drop cloth is really nice because if you squeeze it, you can press that in and see how those turned inside, those raw edges. So it's nice to work with, but I just bought the wrong weight. Okay, there we go. Hi Jody, welcome. I'm glad you're here. So I'm just going to squeeze this, and I got a little too much glue, so I'm going to take a skewer and take it off. That's another nice thing I like about the Gorilla Glue. It's not an instant hold, but you have a workable time with it. So there's our feet. Yep, this is dry. So all we did was we took a real mousetrap and we painted it. So we're going to put this together. So I'm going to shove this up in there just so I can fold these raw ends under. And we're going to put it right on top of this mousetrap. We're going to paint him a little bit. I'm going to give him eyes and whiskers. We're going to put something around his neck. Take a little bit of that out. That's better. So we're just going to glue this onto itself. So all I'm doing is folding the raw ends toward the center, and I'm gluing it. I'm tucking it first and then I'm gluing it. Just so all those raw ends will be not show, because I don't want them to show. And I should not be doing this with my fingers. Smart thing would be to protect your fingers, right? I have finger protectors, but I have no idea where I put them. I don't know how many sets of them I have. Thank you. I am making a mouse and we're putting it in a mouse trap. Real original, Jody. So this is something that when I had my store, one of my vendors did, and I just thought it was the most adorable thing. So unfortunately, she's passed. Hi, Wanda. She passed away when I had my store. So I'm just squeezing the bottom. It is original. Because I don't use them because I do everything in my power to keep critters out of my house. But, you know, this time of the year, they sneak in. I think I drive people at work crazy too with little insects and stuff that come into storage. And they're like, oh my God, she's at it again. No bugs. So I'm just holding this till that glue catches. Okay, while that's drying, there's this little thing here that you pull this back over and it sets your trap. Well, we're not doing that. We're going to take this little thing and we're just going to glue it. Actually, we could have taken it out, but we're just going to glue it. Because I'll be the mouse stuck in the trap. And you all know I would be. So I'm just putting glue on there. Okay, we're going to let that set up. We're going to go back to our mouse and we're going to give him eyes. And I'm just using tiny little beads. This is what I use for most things that are little like this. This is button thread. It's also called rug thread. I have my thread doubled on a needle. And I have cut the tails of my thread as close to the knot as I can get. Oh, you're fine, Jody. Thank you. You're never late. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my needle, and I have a long needle, and I'm going completely through his head, coming right out the other side. See that? And see my knot? Now you can't see. Whoops. Well, you can if I pull it too tight. I wanted you to see the knot. So see the knot? Right there. So I'm going back through again. So what I did the first time is by putting the needle completely through, I know both of my eyes are going to be lined up. And one's not going to be up and one down. Of course, that would be okay too if we was making a Goofy mouse. So, like the Goofy maker here. So I went completely back through. So we went from one side to the other, and then we turned around and came right back through. So that's when I'm putting my bead on. If I can see the hole. There we go. So now I'm going back through. My bead is on the thread. I'm going back through, and I'm keeping all of my stitches that I'm going back and forth as close as I can to one another. And I'm coming right back out where I came through on that side. So when you do this, before you pull it really tight, just turn your bead so that your thread isn't on top of your eye. So just turn it. And then pull it tight to indent it. Can you see that? Yeah. See how that's indented? So now I'm not going to let loose of my thread. I'm going to wrap it around his head, and I'm going to hold it with my thumb and pick up my other bead, because if I let go of it, that little indent is going to disappear. So this is when you need 6 hands and 2 other people to help you. Like that. Come on, you. There we go. Stay on. There we go. We got it. So this is where you use all your fingers. And this might seem complicated, but once you do this a few times, you will get the hang of it. So there we go. We got the second eye on. The first one's still indented. And I'm holding my thread tight. You see that? And I'm going to hold my eye. And I'm going back through and once again going underneath of the eye and coming out underneath of this other eye. And I'm pulling it. See how that's indented? Oh, thank you, Stella. So that eye is indented and this eye is indented. I'm still holding my thread really tight because if I let go, this eye is going to come loose. Again, I'm going to hold it on top of his head. And where my thread comes out there, I'm taking the tiniest little stitch going up under that eye. The tiniest little stitch. And I'm going to get as much of this thread that I'm holding close to that eye as I can, and then I'm going to take my needle in that loop twice. And what that's going to do is knot this off. And really quick, when I let go of what I'm holding up here, I'm going to pull this really tight. So I did not lose the indent on this side. So you just need 6 hands and 3 people to do this at first. So now before I cut my thread, I'm going to go back into that same stitch. And this is called a locking stitch. And I'm going to do it one more time. And I'm going to pull it tight so that that stitch is under the eye. Now we don't want to cut this, because you're going to see tiny little tails coming out from under that eye. So go back under that eye and come out somewhere. And you've hidden your tails. And when you pull this, it pulls that knot up under that eye. And now you want to clip your threads. So there's your eyes. And you can't see your thread. So now that we got the body done, let's do our ears. And I don't have my red marker here. Where did I put it? I'm in the process of moving rooms around. We are remodeling, so nope, there it is. I am scattered. So I'm taking a paintbrush and I'm wetting it. And I am going to wet just right where I want his cheeks. Now, if you wet too much, it's not a problem. So I'm going to get them just about the same. This is a paint marker. I get them from Walmart. They're called, they're made by Express Yourself. They're just paint markers. And where I put that water on his cheeks, I'm just going to do a couple little dots and then rub it. And what that water does is help you move that paint around so you don't have a really dark cheek. You just want a little bit. So we're doing the same thing to the inside of the ears. I'm just going to wet it. So you know your ears, you need them facing each other so you're not putting the coloring on the wrong side. And I'm just moving this water around. When it dries, you will not be able to tell this was wet. And I'm just rubbing it. and you get the faintest color. Now I have better luck doing this with paint markers than I do the paint, because sometimes the paint gets too dark. And I just want a faint amount of color there. So one of these paint markers, they're under $3. Last me a long time because I use such a tiny bit of it. Now the ear is flat on one side. I'm going to take those two flat ends and fold them in. And I'm going to glue them. And see how that cups that ear? So I'm just putting the tiniest bit of glue there. And I'm spreading it out with the tip of my tool. And I'm just going to pinch it together. So you just need a tiny bit. That's why my glue tool looks so bad, because I'm constantly spreading. Oops, don't need my hair in there. I'm constantly spreading the glue around. Oh yeah, pastels would look great too, yeah. So now we're going to glue these big ears on his head. So what I'm doing is, where we glued, I'm folding it backwards and just like pinching it. Can you see that? Yep, just like that. Now that fold is going to go on the back of his head. And then we're going to open up his ear, and that's what it's going to look like. Now here's where you can give your mouse a lot of personality. You can have one ear up, you can have one ear down. Depending on what you do to his face, you can give him personality. So let me pinch, whoops, wrong way, pinch that down. Now you can also make one of these ears larger than the other, and that will give your mouse personality. So I have one going up and one going out the side. See that? And see that little bit of coloring inside that ear? Thank you, Kathy. So now we're going to take his feet and we're going to put his body right on top. And I'm going to squeeze this down and hold it while that sets up. Thanks, Barb. So that's what we have so far. Yeah, my vendor, when she brought these into the store, I fell in love with them. I think everybody on my Christmas list that year got one of these things. Okay, so now if you just want to make this mouse and you don't want to put him in the mouse trap, don't stuff his feet. I stuffed his feet because it's going to help him hold in the trap. So I am going to lift up this snap part, and I'm going to put it right down on top of his feet. So I'm going to put some glue up underneath of there to hold that. And I'm going to push his foot where the glue is into that glue. So there we go. We have him. I forgot to put Vaseline on the tip of my glue tool. So I have some Spanish moss. And we're going to wad this up and put it right on top. It's a little bit too much. I love this stuff and I hate it at the same time. So I'm just going to put a little bit right there. I forgot to bring his cheese in here. I got a sponge that I was going to cut a little piece of cheese and put it on top of it. And I just remembered I did not bring it in here. Hold on a minute. Let me go grab it. Hopefully I can find it. You know, sometimes husbands and children, you want to kill. He used my yellow sponge. So I have a blue one and we're going to paint it. So let me cut this off of here. I hope this works because I had a yellow one. So let's paint it. I don't know. Can you paint sponge? We're going to find out. Well, you're still going to be able to see the blue a little bit, so, but you'll get the idea. So I am really loading the paint on here. Try and cover up as much of this blue. So I'll have to go back to the Dollar General tomorrow and get another yellow sponge. That one I got on clearance, so they probably won't have any more on clearance, but that's okay. This sponge is really soaking this paint up. But you're going to get the idea. So I'm just going to sit it there because I'm not gluing it because you can see the blue. So I have a piece of homespun that we're going to put around his neck. I'm going to cut this down. I'm going to tie it around the little guy's neck. And we're going to give him whiskers, and we got to do a tail. So I don't get yellow paint everywhere. So if y'all are interested in coffee bags, I have some listed on my page I put on this morning. They are real coffee bags. They're still imprinted with the grower's information. And some of them even have coffee beans in them. So there's that. So let's do his whiskers. So I'm just using black embroidery floss, 1 strand, no knot, right under his cheeks. I'm going straight through. I'm picking up a little bit of the fabric. Can you see how much is on that needle? Just a little bit. And however long you want your whiskers, and I'm knotting this. That way your whiskers don't come out. So he can have long whiskers, he can have short whiskers, it's whatever you want. And I'm putting 2 on each side. So right where that one was, I'm going a little bit below it and putting another whisker. So if you've ever looked, I always use a cat as reference because none of us has gotten so close to a mouse, I don't think, that you can see their whiskers. But if you see a cat, they got like a little tiny ball where the whisker goes into their face. That's what this knot kind of represents in my world. So by doing this twice, you get 4 whiskers on each side. Thanks. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Vicki. So in my world, things aren't exactly the way they're supposed to be. I have a vivid imagination, so I drag you all along with me. Okay, so if your whiskers don't go the direction you want them to, put a little bit of hairspray or Mod Podge or something on your fingers and just go over them and put them how you want them to go. I just like mine to go whichever direction they decide to go. So I have a large, this is called Super Sharpie. It's a large tip, and I'm going to do his nose. And all I'm doing is on each side, I'm just doing like a half circle, and I'm coloring that in. I think I have these markers in every diameter that they come in. So on his knot, Open that ear up a little bit. I'm going to put a button. I threw a whole handful of them inside my straight pins, which I shouldn't have done because now I'm getting stabbed. So I have just a little red button, and I'm going to put it right on the knot of his little tie. And there's his make-believe cheese. And there, whoops, well that didn't work out very well. Sit there. And there we go. Yep, we're gonna have to glue that and the other one in. So there you go, we have a mouse. Now this mouse, about 6 inches tall. But there you go. I hope you like it. So we got him stuck. Thanks, Joanne. We got him stuck in his trap. So this is not my idea. It was a vendor of mine. Her name was Wanda. She passed away when she was in my store. But this is her idea. Now, I don't know where she got it. Hi, Diana. I don't know. I know, right? Like, that's not real cheese. I don't want that. He's kicking it off. Thanks, Julie. But I hope you like it. God bless you. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. When I get the real cheese, the other sponge, I will post a picture. And God bless you. Thank you for joining me. Those of you that are new, thank you for the hearts. I appreciate it. Those of you that are new to me, welcome. My name is Jenna. I'm in Middle Georgia. I'm from Pennsylvania, not far from Pittsburgh. And let me know where you're from. And, oh, he doesn't have a tail. No, he does not. Let's take a strip of this. Now this is just a drop cloth that's already been. Now I don't know if this will curl. It won't, but we're still going to give it to him. See, the tails are on the back of these things, and I don't look at the back of them, so we're going to make this curl. We're going to glue it on the back of him. And I'm going to take some Mod Podge. What do I have here? It has a plastic handle. Paintbrush. I'm going to take some, I'm doing this with my fingers. I'm going over his tail on both sides. Now this, we're going to do this, a whole video of doing something similar to this that you all who are new to making dolls can use for doll hair. Before I spill that. So what I'm doing is this is a plastic. You need something plastic so that it will slide off. And I am going to wrap this around. Right around his tail. I'm just twisting it. So when this Mod Podge dries, his tail will stay just like that. So, hi Tamala, you got me right at the end. We made a mouse in a mousetrap with cheese, and we just did his tail. Let me see if I can dry this. Because see, it'll stick to that. Just so you can get sort of the idea. So I appreciate all of you being on here and watching my craziness. A little bit more. So somebody had asked me if my items that I make are for sale. Everything's for sale. Even when I do the memory bears for people, I can't do the exact same fabric because, you know, they supply that. But I can do you a bear similar. So I'm just twisting this paintbrush. I don't think I let it dry enough, but it's still curly. So I'm just twisting this paintbrush off. So he has a curly tail. I think I'm going to glue it up on his body a little bit. So which way do we want it? Yeah, around the side. I'm just putting a dot of glue. Now, had I let this dry on its own totally, it would have stood straight up in the air. Okay, there's his tail. God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend. Remember, Jesus loves you, and I appreciate you all giving me your time. I greatly do. Thank you for the hearts. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you, Diana. Have a great weekend.